Did you know that more than 38% of Americans over the age of 50 struggle with joint discomfort, poor balance, or weakening lower body strength? That number is not just a statistic. It is a reflection of how quietly and gradually our bodies change as we age, and how few people realize that the solution might be simpler than they think. A while back, I came across a squat variation that stopped me in my tracks. It looked different from anything I'd tried before. There were no weights involved, no jumping, no complicated movements. It was slow, wide, and grounded. And once I started practicing it consistently, just a few minutes each day, the changes I noticed within the first couple of weeks genuinely surprised me. My balance improved. Getting up from a chair felt easier. My hips felt more open and mobile. And my knees, which used to protest every time I climbed stairs, started to quiet down. That is when I realized this simple movement might be one of the most underrated longevity tools available to anyone over 50. So let me walk you through 5 surprising benefits of the Sumo Squat, because they go far beyond just building stronger legs. The first benefit is that it reactivates muscles that aging has quietly switched off. Most people over 50 are unaware of this process, but your body gradually stops using muscles that you do not regularly engage. This is not about laziness or poor lifestyle choices. It is simply how aging works. The condition is called sarcopenia, which refers to age-related muscle loss, and it begins as early as your 30s, picking up speed with each passing decade. The muscles that tend to go first are the inner thighs, the glutes, and the deep hip stabilizers. These are the exact muscles you rely on to stand, sit, balance, and move through daily life. The typical modern lifestyle does not help either. We sit in supported chairs, take elevators, walk short distances, and rely on handrails. All of these are comfortable habits, but over time they allow our stabilizing muscles to fall silent. The Sumo Squat addresses this directly. Unlike a standard narrow stance squat, the sumo variation opens the hips wide and demands that those underused muscles begin firing again. The wide stance with toes turned slightly outward targets the adductors, the inner thighs, and the glute medius, all of which are critical for balance and everyday movement. These are not just aesthetic muscles, they are the muscles that prevent falls. And when they reawaken, you often notice that your knees and lower back feel less pressure too, because your body starts distributing weight more evenly across the entire lower body. The second benefit is that it trains your body to catch itself before a fall ever happens. Falls are one of the leading causes of serious injury in older adults. But what most people do not realize is that your body has its own built-in system to prevent them. It is called proprioception, your body's internal GPS that constantly tells your brain where your limbs are, how fast you're moving, and whether your balance is about to be compromised. The Sumo Squat is one of the most effective ways to retrain this system. Its wide, low stance activates the hips, inner thighs, glutes, and core all at once, while also challenging your internal sense of balance. Unlike wobble boards or unstable surfaces, the Sumo Squat is grounded and controlled, making it ideal for people over 50 who want to improve their reaction time and stability without the risk of injury. It also retrains the connection between your hips, knees, and ankles, the chain of joints that determines whether you recover from a stumble or end up on the floor. Because balance is both physical and neurological, this movement is genuinely exercising your body and your brain simultaneously. The third benefit may be the most surprising. The Sumo Squat can gently reignite a slowing metabolism. One of the most frustrating parts of aging is that your body seems to change even when your diet and activity levels stay the same. Belly fat accumulates, energy dips. The scale refuses to move. This is metabolic slowdown, and it affects nearly everyone over 50. What many people do not realize is that you do not always need high-intensity exercise to shift your metabolism. What you need is smart, consistent activation of the body's largest and most energy-hungry muscle groups. The Sumo Squat does exactly that. The wide stance and deep angle engage the hips, thighs, and core simultaneously, and when you activate these large muscles regularly, even at a low intensity, You create a steady metabolic boost over time. It raises your baseline rather than spiking and crashing like cardio often does. The squat also naturally engages the deep core muscles, including the transverse abdominis and obliques, which support your posture and help tighten the midsection from the inside out. After a couple of weeks of daily practice, many people report not just physical changes, but also increased energy throughout the day. The fourth benefit is heart health support without leaving you breathless. Many people assume that protecting their heart requires running, cycling, or intense cardio. But not every heart over 50 should be pushed to those limits. The Sumo Squat offers something different. When you lower into the movement, your body recruits its largest muscle groups, and those muscles need oxygen, which prompts your heart to pump more efficiently. It is a gentle cardiovascular stimulus, not an aggressive one. Your heart wakes up without being overwhelmed. There is also a secondary benefit that often goes unnoticed. The slow, controlled breathing that naturally accompanies a sumo squat activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and restore mode. This means lower stress hormones, reduced inflammation, and often better sleep. People who practice this movement regularly describe it as feeling like a walk through the park without ever leaving the room. Low effort on the surface, but quietly doing powerful work underneath. The fifth and perhaps most meaningful benefit is that it rebuilds confidence from the ground up. Aging does not only take a physical toll, it takes an emotional one too. There is a quiet loss of confidence that many people experience as they get older, a hesitation before standing up, a second thought before stepping off a curb, a shrinking of daily life driven not by inability, but by fear of what might go wrong. The sumo squat gently pushes back against all of that. When you lower yourself slowly, hold steady at the bottom, and press yourself back up using your own strength, you send a clear message to your brain. You are still capable. You are still in control. And that message begins to carry into other parts of your life. You find yourself rising from the couch with less effort, climbing stairs with more confidence, carrying groceries without that slight wobble. Each small victory adds up, and over time, that adds up to a renewed sense of independence. Now let me walk you through how to do it safely. Stand with your feet wider than shoulder width apart, with your toes turned slightly outward. Engage your core, keep your chest tall, and slowly lower your hips as if you are sitting down onto a low, invisible stool. Stop when your thighs are roughly parallel to the floor, or go only as low as feels comfortable. Pause briefly at the bottom, then press through your heels and rise back up with control. Start with 5 repetitions and gradually work up to 15. If you need extra support, place a sturdy chair behind you. If you have had recent knee surgery, a hip replacement, severe joint pain, or difficulty balancing even while standing still, either skip this movement for now or use a chair for support throughout. Always check with your doctor or physical therapist before beginning any new exercise, especially if you are managing a chronic condition. You do not need a gym. You do not need equipment. You do not need to be in perfect shape. You just need a few minutes, a little floor space, and the decision to begin. Even 5 repetitions today is more than 0. And that first step is always the most important one. Start small, stay consistent, and let your body remind you of what it is still capable of doing.